What about, can you hear me? What about, can you hear me? Oh man. Oh, okay, okay. All right. So y'all can't hear me. Oh man. All right, we're gonna see. Let me. Okay, okay. All right. So y'all can't. All right. Let me see if I can go through the names that's on here, and let's see if it'll do right. So far, it look like it's trying to do something. Look like we might be all right. I think it's just real time is a little slow, but long as if it's working, then I think we're gonna be all right. All right. So long as y'all can hear, then we all right. All right. Let me go through the names and see. I want to make sure that it's not gonna start buffering, because if it mess up and buffer again, then I'm just gonna bring this another day. Yeah, that's fine. Go live sometime this week or something like that. Might do it on a Tuesday night if it don't want to do right today. We're gonna see, but we didn't got behind time. Now into ways. Let's see what we got. All right. Shalom, shalom. Rakam, good to see you. Karam, Elder Kadishah, Bridget, how you doing? Elishiba, Shalom, Makoti, Liz, Sister Ma'ara, Yahoo, Shalom, my sister. Hope all is well. I'm gonna try to check in with you this week, you and your family. Amar, Patricia, Shalom, Jermaine, okay, Jermaine, Shalom, Shema, Shalom, Marquise, Shalom, Stefan, Shalom, Tafila. Love you. Shalom. Zahab. Shalom. Yolanda. Shalom. KK. Shalom. Shimshon. Shalom. Shema. Shalom. Ezer. Yahoo. Shalom, sis. Kana. Shalom. Daniel. Shalom. Esmoko. Shalom. Sister Marissa. Shalom. Anthony C. Shalom. Ima Yana. Shalom. Shalom. Love you dearly. Shalom, Sarai Yahoo. Shalom, King. Zakin Nahalabad. No, I might have tore that up. Shalom. Jamal, shalom. Rashia, shalom. Forever grateful, shalom. Richard, shalom. Gina, shalom. All right. I know you gave me the right way to pronounce this. I think. And I don't remember. I'm going to go with Kylan. Kylan. I know you're going to help me out there, so I see you. I forgot that fast, though. Tamar, shalom. Ima Aruka, shalom. Ari, shalom, sir. How you doing? Sister Abigail, Okota Abigail, shalom. Sister Pauline. My daughter Hadassah, hope y'all doing good over there now. One, shalom, Marsha. Shalom. Chepsaba, Shep City. Shalom. Selah, good seeing you. Shalom. All right. All right. I think we all right. Look like we gonna be all right. All right. So this is another installment to the man. Hopefully, I can get to a lot of the things. She said I said it right, Colin. Well, praise Yahusha. Praise Yahusha. Man, we out here with these names, man. Me trying to get them correct. So look like we good. All right. So last week we not last week, but the week before last, we went over men of the covenant. So we're gonna go. I'm gonna be dealing with the man a good little while. Uh, for a little while. A lot of the men told me they was leaking from the last one we did. It's a lot of bandages and cuts and you know bandaging themselves up. But it's important that we get this. So probably gonna open up some wounds a little bit more today, but we gonna get there. We gonna get there. Praise Yahushua. Must gonna be pretty good. The way the buffering and all that was going on. So let me try to get to that. First of all, let me give all praises and honor to Yahuwah and also his beloved Son, our everlasting King, Yahusha HaMashiach. Pray that he gets all the glory and honor through what we bring today. Praise Yahusha. Also, give a shout out to my wife. This is our anniversary weekend. Praise Yahuwah. We have been together for 18 years. And we have been married for 16 years. So we are commemorating that. Love that woman. I appreciate everything she is to me. And I am who I am because of her standing by my side and pushing me. So hallelujah for her and our relationship. And pray you will give us 40 more years of long life. Hallelujah. We'll never not put a number on it. Just give us long, long life. Hallelujah. All right, so let me try to get into this. Let's see. Let's see here. Let's go to Bereshit. Uh, Bereshit, let's go to chapter 2 this time. Go to chapter 2. Gonna be jumping around a little bit. Chapter 2. Tell you what, let me go here. The goal of these lessons, and I advise all the men to go back and look at the original men of the covenant. To go back and get sharpened up on that. But the goal of these lessons is to help the men see ourselves, to help to see how wrong we were taught in this nation based off this culture in terms of what a man really is. Um, we have taken on the ideal of the macho man mentality, and I like to call it. I don't know if y'all used to watch wrestling back in the day, but Macho Man Randy Savage, because that's how we have become. We become savages and actually have not become the man that Yahuwah desires to be. We are not reflecting Yahusha with that mentality. Well, we don't know how to really care for our wife. We don't really know how to minister to her needs, her emotional, spiritual, being intimate with our care for her, In a lot of instances, we have learned to treat our women from a perspective of what they can do for us when it comes to just we have limited them to just body parts, and for them to be glad based on we providing for them. So they shouldn't have anything to say based on what we are doing. She got a house, she got money that I give her. Now she should just hush and just give me sex when I desire it. And everything that have learned to do from a perspective of being macho. So a macho man never reveals his vulnerability. A macho man never really displays when he's hurting. A macho man never admits to his fears, but his fears controls his decisions. A macho man would treat his wife like another man, but she's just a man that has an open place that I can receive pleasure, but never really letting her in where we can have intimacy. And we have become misogynistic in our ways, right? And what I mean by that terms is speaking of a man that has a inward hate or enmity for women, period, right? So the other week we did it. We wanted to show you what was passed down the bloodline through our forefather, Adam, right? And we showed by what happened in the garden how he developed a sense of passive aggressiveness against Eve, right? Kavah. And that thought was passed down even to Cain, and Cain even killing his brother, right? Because of what was passed down genetically, right? What was passed down spiritually to his son. Even through even a term now of epigenetics, that we can receive these things where we move in such an aggressive way that it shows through our actions, not our words, that we identify our wife with women. And our wife is our opportunity to display our frustration with women in our life. She's the one that now is the the target of how to release our aggression. But passive aggressiveness is still aggression, but it's passive, right? In a place where you can't necessarily put your finger on it, but it's in our attitude, it's in our mood changes, it's in the way our tone, our demeanor, it's aggressive. So these are the things that we want to look at, right? And today we're going to speak on a little bit about the aspect of the original purpose for a man, and then the other aspect of how a man can become misogynist in the aspect of having inward enmity and hatred against women, except on ways that this woman can please him. We're going to look at Nabal. And we're going to look at what his name meant and who he was, having an Abigail. And we're going to show, even through even the rich young ruler, that how a man can carry hurt and build up a fence, a wall, a shield of protection around his heart and become a hard shell that he hides behind, and that's carried out. And we're going to show how that develops, right? So now let's go to the original purpose of a man. And I want all the men to be on here. I want y'all to be sharing this. Go ahead and share it so we can get these brothers in here. Sisters, you can be in here too, so you can learn. And single sisters, definitely, so you can learn what you should be looking for. So we're going to be on this for a minute. All right, let's go to Bereshit chapter 2. Let's see. All right, so it reads, thus. Oh, okay, I got it right here. I ain't got to go. All right, it says, thus the Shemaim and the Arets were finished, and all the hosts of them. And on the seventh day, Yahuwah ended his work which he had made. And he rested on the seventh day from all his work which he had made. And Yahuwah blessed the seventh day and sanctified it, because that in that he had rest from all his labor which he had created and made. Now these are the generation of these are the book of life of the heavens and the earth when they were created, in the day Yahuwah our Elohim made the heavens and the earth. Watch this. And it says, in every plant of the field before it was in the earth, and every herb of the field before it grew. For Yahuwah our Lord had not caused it to rain upon the earth, and there was not a man to till the ground. There was not a man to till the ground. So there was already a function in the earth, but there wasn't a creation in order to carry out that function. Yahuwah had created a place for man's dominion before man was created. The goal of us is to seek out Yahuwah to make sure that we are in the function that he created before we was born. Let's keep going. But there went out a mist of the earth and watered the whole face of the ground. And Yahuwah formed man from the dust of the ground, breathed into the nostril, and man became the breath of life. And man became a living soul, right? We dealt with that a little bit last week. And Yahuwah planted a garden eastern in Eden, and there he put the man who formed it. And out of the ground made Yahuwah to grow every tree that is pleasant in the sight, good for food, the tree of life in the midst of the garden, the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So notice that Yahuwah made the man from the dust of the ground, right? So this is why I always want you to remember these things, that man is first the foundation of the family. He's the foundation of the kingdom, right? So men of the covenant is the foundation of the kingdom. We are the strength of the kingdom, and we are the honor of the kingdom. I'll say that again. Men of the covenant, we're the foundation of the kingdom. I dealt with foundation last week. We are the honor. We're going to deal with that as time goes, and then we are the strength of the kingdom. All right, so let's keep going. But the tree of the knowledge of good and thou shalt not eat, for in the day thou eatest thereof, thou shalt surely die. So Yahuwah formed the man and put the man in the garden to dress the garden and to keep it. So what did the first thing that Yahuwah gave the man? He gave him something to cultivate. He gave him a work to do. He gave him a job, right? He gave him something that the best of his ability can come out. He gave him something where Yahuwah can deal with him so he can start forming and become the same creation, create his own dominion based on what Yahuwah has given him. Because the same creativity that's in Yahuwah, he put it in us. But he have to give us a problem for us to bring something to its fullness, right? Because notice, Yahuwah desires, number one, for man to work and function. He don't desire a man to sit around and do nothing. He don't desire men for just to be taken care of. There has to be a function that a man accomplishes, that he does. This drives the image of a protector in a woman's mind to know that my man is going to provide for me. Because what did Yahuwah do? Yahuwah provided for Adam. Right? If you look at Yahusha, he provides for his wife, Israel. He has done all the completed work, physically, spiritually, in all those realms to provide a place for his bride to rest. This is why, man, you can't be sitting around and not have no work in your hand. What are you working on? What are you producing? What are you cultivating? You can't allow the ship to go down and you just sitting there saying you waiting. What are you waiting on? Yahuwah then put it in your hand. Just like you asked Moshe, what's in your hand? Create, function. Then you have to know the timing. When is the timing that I need to leave my function to another function? But Yahuwah don't want us to bank on just because we got a job that demands servitude from the wife. So our mentality, number one, as a man, I'm finna provide for everything that comes out of me. I'm already gonna have a word. This is why single women, you cannot be getting with men. The number one quality you need to be looking for is he a provider? How long do he maintain on jobs? If he changing a job every 6 months, that shows instability, lack of function, lack of purpose, lack of direction. He's just sitting and then just doing the bare minimum. But because the book says you're the head and because you're male, you feel like that you are owed submission and you don't qualify to be submitted to. You have to be a husband in order to receive submission. Husband is an office. There's certain qualifications that you must accomplish in order to become a husband. But Yahuwah gave him a function, right? He gave him the garden and where he was supposed to work, right? So he was supposed to provide. All right, and Yahuwah, verse 16, and Yahuwah commanded the man, saying, every tree of the garden did thou mayest freely eat, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat of it, for in the day thou eat of it, thou shalt surely die. And Yahuwah said, it was not good for the man to be alone, I will make him a helpmeet. So number one, Yahuwah created a garden for the man, where Yahuwah can meet with the man, so the man can experience Yahuwah's mind, his direction, his function. Notice it was supposed to be one-on-one time with Yahuwah. So when there's another helpmeet that comes, when your helpmeet comes, you already know how to provide for her. You already know how to minister to her. Why? Because Yahuwah been ministering to you. You've been spending that time with him. And this is how we have to approach marriage. This is how we have to approach family, as from a perspective of, without Yahusha, I don't know what to do. And you can tell if you haven't been spending that time with Yahusha, because you'll be doing things based off what feels good, what you feel like you owe. You'll be doing things based off your flesh, not based on a man that doesn't have intimacy with Yahusha can never love you from a place of ahava, from a place of giving, from a place of sacrifice. He doesn't understand sacrifice because he hasn't been intimate with the one that gave us the ultimate sacrifice. You only conform to the image of the one that you behold. If you're not beholding Yahusha, you're beholding a self-made image of what a man is, and then all your decisions will be based on your past. A self-made image of what a man is, or a Babylonian cultural understanding of what a man is, and you will live by that. Because you conform to the image of whoever you behold, whoever you're spending time with. It's just like in the natural. Whatever I want to learn, if I focus my attention and spend time with that individual, with that person, I will become their skill set. I will get part of their nature. And if I hold them at a place of honor, I will get part of their dominion. Where are you getting your information from? Where are you getting your direction? Who are you talking to? Are you getting advice from people that have bad marriages? Are you hanging around a bunch of single people? Are you getting your information from entertainment? Entertainment is detaining so a seed can enter you. All of it is knowledge. So Yahuwah placed the man in the midst of the garden, and then he also placed a tree of the knowledge of good and evil. So Yahuwah put something in the garden to give the man a choice between good and evil. What's going to be your function? Where's the basis of your decision making coming from? But Adam began to spend that time with the Most High, meditating with the Most High, walking in the cool of the day with the Most High. Why? Because he desires to conform into the image of something that's greater than him. He knew he can conform into the animal's image, into the tree, into the water, into everything he's seen. Why? Because he knew he had a greater dominion than that. He knew he was created above that. He was Kodesh when it comes to those things. He was set apart. So he began to spend his time with the only thing that he knew was more supernatural than him, his creator. So he can understand the function of the garden. Do you understand the function of the family? Because if whatever you don't understand the function of, you would abnormally use it. What is abnormal use? It's abuse. If he didn't know if he depended on his base nature to understand the garden outside of Yahuwah, he would have been destroying everything. And what he'll do, he'll destroy it, then he'll go repent to Yahuwah. He'll destroy it, then he'll go repent to you. He'll destroy more things. Why? Because you're destroying it without learning. Not only learning, but without conforming. And then you will focus your attention on the function of the garden based on not messing up again, rather than based on spending time with the one that can show you the way. Because there's still pride. So he put him in a garden to have that one-on-one, and his meetings with the king gave him orders on what to establish in the garden. How to make the garden, the earth, like the Shemini. How to become one. How to stand between two realms. Have you ever went to Yahusha and asked him, what does my family look like in the Shemini, so I can create the pattern of that here on the earth. What are you doing? Adam was in such a place of oneness, right? That Yahuwah finally looked at him and said, it's not good for you to be alone. Let's look at that. He first established the beholding, the relationship, his orders from the Most High. How did we know that he listened and that he spent time and his function with Most High? Because because of what he created after. The proof that he was spending time with Yahuwah was the proof of the garden blossoming. Everything was in its place. Everything was in a place of growth. Everything was in a place of development. It was proof because there was proof that this man spent time with Yahuwah. It was proof, and it will be proof for us. Your family dynamic is a direct reflection of the man's relationship with Yahuwah. Look at your family. Look at your wife. Look at your children. It's a reflection of your decisions and your time spending with Yahuwah. That's your garden. So Yahuwah looked at that and said, it's not good for man to be alone, right? We're going to create him a helpmeet. But before we get there, let's look at this man first. When you look at the structure of a man, right, you first see his physical form. You first see his physical form. And what you notice about a man in his physical form, you see he has outward strength. He has a strong neck. He has broad shoulders. He has muscles. Everything about how a man is created shows that he has physical strength. Why did Yahuwah give him physical strength? Number one, to be the protector. To be able to protect his family. Number two, to be a provider. But does the protection just go from a physical form? No, you're supposed to protect them on 3 realms. Number one, I'm protecting her from anything that can physically harm her or my family. That's my job. I have been given that. Nothing is going to I would die physically protecting my wife and my children. Because you're created in that form. But a lot of times in our mind, we stay in the physical. But what about you got 2 other realms of protection? You are the protector of her soul. You ought to make sure that there's no pressure and stress that hits her. He has given it to you to protect her soul, because a woman was not built to handle pressure. She wasn't built to handle stress. She was built for pain. A woman can take pain and produce life out of it. She can take hurt and produce strength out of it. But Yahuwah has given it to the man to protect her shalom, her peace. You should be the strong tower that she can run to and speak of her hurt, her shame, her guilt. You're supposed to protect her spiritual development. How much time are you spending with the Most High and your wife? pouring into her. It ain't the moray that's supposed to be her spiritual development. Let me ask you something. When your wife think of healing, do she bypass you and look at the moray? That's a problem. When she think about deliverance and healing and freedom, do she have to go look for another man? Because the man that's in the house is not equipped. Therefore, you make the moray the head of your home. Because you can't be the priest that Yahuwah ordained you to be. You don't know when she hurting. You don't know when she crying within. You don't know when she's completely. You don't know until the end when she's stressed out, because there becomes a outward cry. You can't feel when you hurt her feelings. You should be like how Yahusha said to us, I know you better than you even know yourself. How much are you studying her to protect her? How much? How much are you studying her? Yahusha said that know your wives, in the epistles through one of the apostles, know your wife according to knowledge. What's your knowledge base? Because if I'm supposed to be her protector, then I have to know how and who I'm protecting. Do I even know how to minister to her soul? That her soul may find safety and comfort in my protection. So you still waiting on the moray to come to your house. You waiting on Yahuwah to give him a word. You waiting on him to come lay hands on her. And you bankrupt. You have nothing to offer. But then you still want to be respected as a head. What are you offering? How are you a priest? What are you pouring into her? Are you pouring life into her, or are you pouring your frustrations? Because she's going to become what you pour into her. She's going to produce what you put in her. If you put frustration in, you're going to get frustration out. And Yahuwah ain't looking at her, he's looking at you. I pay all the bills, and I make sure that she good. I make sure she has some money, and I make sure all that. You got one aspect of protection there, but left her soul. How are you protecting her spirit? How are you protecting her spirit? Can she say, baby, can you go in the room with me, and can you bring Yahusha's presence in? Are you like Dawid? Are you like Yahusha? That you can go in a room and open a portal that Yahuwah presence may come in based on your praise, based on your worship, based on your prayer. I ain't just talking about just coming in there and just talking and saying a little 5-minute grace. No, I'm talking about really opening up where she can feel Yahuwah's presence through the laying of your hands, through the praising, through your singing, even if you can't sing, through your praying, your heart cry to Yahuwah. That's protection of her spirit. If she had to depend solely on you and not the assembly at all, would you grow? Would y'all grow? Would there be development? Would there be healing taking place? Can you declare against ruachs that's attacking her mind? Do you have authority to cast out ruachs that tries to torment her or that's on your children? Or do you have to go to another man? I want to hit you with this because we have got comfortable in doing the bare minimum and becoming nothing. And now another man has to be the head of your home. And the image of a priest in her mind is destroyed. It has never been there with you. It has always been there with the one that really been spending time, and that's her leader. And that's a shame. That she can't even sit down and get a Bible study out of you. A Bible study. But you want to be the head. You want to lead. You want to show in assembly. Let me do this and let me do that, and you ain't doing none at the house. She got to get all her learning of the scriptures from a reflection call. Now, ain't nothing wrong with the reflection call. Don't get me wrong, but it's a shame if that's where she get her spiritual growth. And not from you. And you don't even see it. You don't even see it. You think you good. Because you don't think you have to present your work. You want to present hiding in the assembly. This is what my assembly done. No, what you did. You can't even feel when another presence has hit your house. Where's the sword of the Spirit out of your mouth? Where is it? Where are you teaching? Are you echoing the leader and establishing the word in your house? We're talking about protection. Strength. What about a provider? Okay. Number one, you can say nothing when it comes to roles and function if you making your wife a co-provider. You can't come home and fuss why this house ain't clean, why you ain't cooked, why you ain't made my meal. No, you gave that up. Because now she's a co-provider with you. And if y'all have made that decision, that's fine. But understand that the roles are changed now. You can't be angry with her because of these small things when you made a demand for her to go out and be a co-provider. Now y'all both got to get in there. Say, we don't like that kind of talk. We don't like that. Well, I got that straight, Chief. I got that straight. I provide for mine. And then you want a cookie for that when your horse told that's what we've been created to do, man. But then you think that she ain't got a voice now. She shouldn't have a voice because you're a provider. But then, wait. What about the other two realms? What do you provide? The lowest form of providing is money. Even though it's important. But that's the elementary things. A place for her to stay where she don't have to be stressed in her mind. Because I don't care. Don't you try to make that woman like you are spiritually. Women thrive off security. Your wife would check out on you if the bills are piling up and all you doing is sitting around. Even if you sitting around reading the scripture, the image of a man is being destroyed in her mind. Because in her mind, she's want to depend on her husband to be a go-getter. She don't want to see all these holes in the ship and the ship sinking. The ship sinking and you sitting there with the scriptures. Read. The ship sinking and you got a word. That image of that provider is being destroyed. She got to know that my man gonna go get it. I don't care if my man got to go get 3 jobs. He gonna go do it. Because it's about this house first. And every decision that my man gonna make is gonna be based on Yahuwah telling him to do it. But when a woman is stressed based on finances, because she's thinking about the baby, she's thinking about the children, she's thinking about everything dealing with the house, she's thinking about all this type of stuff. How are we gonna be safe? And you ain't even concerned about it. And you wonder why your touch became cold to her. Why it's a struggle for her to worship and praise. She was created to need security, which is your security based on your work. Based on your function. What are we providing? Are you providing a covering? Because you're supposed to be the provider. Wisdom. Are you a provider of wisdom? Is there wisdom in your decisions? Is there wisdom in the way that you move? Is there wisdom in the way that you talk to her? When she come to you with questions, can you give her wisdom based on your relationship with you? Because you're supposed to be that provider. No, she'll bypass you because you ain't been showing that you have wisdom. Because you've been doing things based on anger, frustration, knowledge of your past, hurt. Then now she got to go seek another man. Can you provide support of what she's trying to accomplish? Or have you made this thing a competition? That your wife can't even complete you, but you want to compete anything that she seems like she's trying to grow, she's trying to develop. Yahuwah done gave her time. She done had your babies. Then suffered loss of her body, suffered loss of her, what she considered her beauty. For you, and 1 or 2 things she tried to do, you want to be negative about it. You can't even support it, but you want her to support you in everything. Let alone if you done did some transgressions in a marriage. You done lied to her. You done hurt her. If you done cheated on her, it ain't much you can say. That's why I say as a man that a man that commits adultery, lack of understanding, and destroys his own soul. Even his soul is his wife's soul. Now you created a deficit and you want her to get over it quickly and put you back into an image that you haven't even earned. Just because you doing good now. All the stuff supposed to be gone. You supposed to have a clean slate. And there haven't been long enough fruits of repentance. You got to be the most patient man in the world. You got to have like Chief used to say, you got to have the patience of the Kodashim. Because you done transgressed. You know now, I be want people to understand this. You know now if you done that and we was in the land, you would be dead. Do you know that? That was a capital offense. You ain't supposed to be living. That's how you, this is how you have to think and your relationship with your wife, because your wife is what saved you. You ain't supposed to be living. You're supposed to be stoned to death because of your but then Yahuwah, through Yahushua, gave you another chance, and your wife gave you another chance of redemption. You can't make demands until you to show enough fruits of repentance that she may crown you again as a king. Because don't no man crown himself king. He's always crowned by another. But listen, because I know we don't like that kind of talk. But what are you providing? Can you provide counsel, friendship, purpose, direction? Boy, I know if I can just, get to my baby, he gon' give me some understanding on this. He gonna pray about it. He gonna give me direction. He done gave us so much of this vision for this family that now we feel with purpose. I don't know what to do on my job, man. The way this happening, and can she think, man, I got to come? If I can just get home and talk to my husband. I got this situation going on with the sister. I just want to bring it to my husband. When she bring it to you, and especially if it's from an emotional aspect, do you get just as emotional as her? There's no stability between both of y'all. She's so mad at it that you all of a sudden you just as angry, just as upset with no stability. You scared to even tell her right from wrong. She ready to fight and you ready to fight all the time. She crying and you crying all the time. No stability. Nothing stable. Nothing fastened. Nothing secure. You supposed to be the provider. But we want to look at one area of providing. I kept the job a long time. Whoop-de-doo. But something causes you not to be supportive. Let's keep going. Yahuwah has given the man also a voice of what? Authority. Most men have somewhat deep voices, but he gave us a voice of authority. And that voice of authority is supposed to be surrounded to come against anything that destroys the peace of the household, of your family, whether spiritually or naturally. The voice of authority wasn't given to you to yell, to scream, to fuss, to get loud at your wife. Number one, that shows an emotional, underdeveloped man or man if he has to scream or fuss at his wife. You underdeveloped. You're not stable. That's just how I am. Sometimes I just got to get my point across. Blah, 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 blah. You unstable because anything in any situation pull you out of pocket. Well, you sniffing and you upsetting, you huffing and puffing. All because you ain't get your way in a situation or a circumstance. You like a kid that ain't get enough whoopings. That's what happened. Your mom and dad ain't beat their butt enough when you ain't get your way. Now you make everybody, you demand your way with everybody. Unstable, easily out of pocket. You go from 0 to 60 based off a statement. Ain't no build up with you. One minute you happy, next minute you sad. Next minute you mad. What kind of man is that? Who can stand on that? Foundation? What kind of strength is that showing? Who can honor a head that's emotional all the time? That shows no. Your wife ought to see some standard, some type of stability. Even if she don't like it, she know it's stable and consistent. But we learn this stuff. I heard this a long time ago. It's something my father told me. You should always be a thermostat rather than a thermometer. You stay set on 70 degrees. You don't move based on the temperature of the house up and down. The most stable person in the house is supposed to be you. And showing your stableness doesn't mean that you don't never show emotions. It don't mean that you don't show when you hurt. That don't mean that you don't show when you're fearful. That don't mean you don't show uh, when you need help. But that means my reactions and my dealings with you gonna stay consistent. The man carries the seed. He's the initiator. That's why Yahuwah has given us a head and he gave us another head. Our head downstairs in which our seed come out of. To know, let you know you're supposed to be the leader because whoever can create life should lead. But if you are the initiator, how much have you initiated? How much at the house do you initiate prayer? Or if your wife have to be the spiritual backbone of the house? Do she have to lead everything? Do she always got to lead the prayer? Paul said, I wish above all that all men pray. Do she have to initiate, baby? Please, this Shabbat, can you give us, can we get the kids together? Do she have to initiate, baby? You want to pray about that? You want to hear the Most High? Let's keep going. All right. It says that in every verse, what was that? Bereshit 2, verse 10. And the river went out of Eden to the water of the garden, and from thence it was parted and became into 4 rivers. Right? The name of the first river is Pison. Right? Let's skip down. Verse 15. And Yahuwah took the man and put him into the garden to dress it and to keep it. And Yahuwah commanded the man, saying, Of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but the tree of the knowledge of good and evil thou shalt not eat, for in the day thou eatest thou shalt surely die. And Yahuwah said unto him, It is not good that man be alone. I will make him a helpmeet for him. I will make a helpmeet for him. That is interesting. That is very interesting. Some of us, some of us as men, it's good for us to be alone, right? We married, but we should have been alone because we're not ready to produce a family. But now you in the middle of the game, you in it, so now you have to do on the job training. But I want us to look at something real quick. I want us to look at this Canado part, not the Ezra part, but it's the Canado part, right? And it's important to see this. All right. It says Lexicon Strong's H5048. And it means before, against, in the presence, about, in front of, straight forward, before, in sight of, front of oneself. So, where should the woman be when it comes to the man? It's not on the side of him. But y'all should be at a continuous place of in front of each other, where her eyes is on you and your eyes is on her. This is what it's talking about, the conato part, right? Because why is that important? She are she's the reflection of the mirror of what tells me what is true. I'm the reflection of the mirror of what tells her what is true. By us looking at each other, we can help build and form each other through the Ruach. We should always be at a place where we can speak what we're seeing in each other's life so we can form and fix that. Not only when you are looking front and forward in front of each other, notice that the man can't see what's behind him, or the woman can't see what's behind her. So, by my spouse looking at me and can't see what's behind me, she can warn me about threats or things that can be coming to consume me. Why? Because I can't see behind my head. I can't see behind myself. So if she's telling me, baby, I see arrogance trying to consume you. I see pride. I see anger. I see stress. She's looking at it, and you can't. That's why you're like, I ain't angry. I ain't upset right now. I ain't angry. I ain't proudful. You and notice what you normally tell her. If she tell you something about yourself, you normally say, I don't see that. I can't see that. You know why you can't see it? Because you weren't supposed to. Because Yahuwah is using her eyes. This is why a man first, because the same principle goes to men and women, but a man first supposed to hear his spouse from a place of unconditional love. That her words are not to destroy me, but her words is to what? Ezar Kanedo, to build me up, to develop me. Because normally when we hear from a place of protection of self. So we are hearing with a ear of offense. I'm going to get offended by what you said. Or we hearing from an ear of defense. I'm going to start defending why I do this before I even let you complete your sentence. Why? Because you can't tell me nothing. Why? Because in your mind, you the man. But if you don't listen, something is going to destroy you. And all she can do is speak to it. And sometimes it consumes us and set us back 2 to 3 years. Why? Because we didn't listen to a word. Because one thing about Yahuwah, he going to always send a word first. But if you don't hear the word, he going to send pain. Because he know pain gets the job done. Pain open up your eyes. So this is the principle, even with listening. You first have to listen to understand before you be understood. I'm going to say that again. Men, listening is, I want to listen to understand before I be understood, right? I want to fully understand what you're saying, the conclusion that came, the pattern that I've been showing before I give my response. Because normally a quick response is a response of defensiveness, or you offended, so you're lashing out. So nobody can even talk to you. And you don't know the two became what? One. The two became what? One. right? So Yahuwah dealing with the one man, which is the husband and the wife that he looks at as one, right? So if you was to split my forehead all the way down, I would have one ear on this side. Say if you split me up, one ear would be the man, the other ear would be the woman. All right? If you and one eye would be the man, the other eye would be the woman. If you split me in two, and the Ruach only speaks to one side at a time, how do you know he chose to speak to you in this situation? This is where I learned that I have to listen to my wife because Yahuwah have shut his mouth to me in some aspects and only speaks through her because this is the side of Yahuwah that I can't hear. Why do he do that? To keep us humble. So if I don't get it from her, Yahuwah is not going to tell me. So this is why I have to listen to her to get it. This is why she has to listen to me because Yahuwah is only speaking to one ear at a time. He's not going to give it to you all the time because he wants you submitted to her needs and she wants you submitted to her lead. She wants her submitted to your need and you submitted to her. What? You want her submitted to you submitted to her need and she submitted to your lead. Okay, man, I was wilding out on that. But you got to understand as I'm trying to give y'all wisdom, man. Some stuff you will never hear, some stuff you will never see. You have to depend on your wife's eyes. She had to depend on your eyes. Why? Because Yahuwah only talked to one man. And he talks to one ear at a time and see through one eye at a time. Why? To make the whole man functional based off each other's relationship with Yahuwah. So if your relationship with Yahuwah is lacking, if your time with Yahuwah is lacking, then there's certain things the wife won't be able to get. It'll always be shut off because why? Adam, where art thou? You ain't in position for me to speak to you. That's why some things in your family won't advance. Because I can't give it to her because that wasn't the ear I was chosen to speak to in this circumstance and situation. And she'll go seeking it from everybody. She'll seek it from a sister. She'll seek it from a Gabir. She'll seek it from a Ema. She'll seek it from a Moray. And she won't be able to hear it because your ear is the only one that Yahuwah has chosen to speak to for that. But you ain't in position. You ain't in place. So Canado, straightforward in front of. I have to look at my wife. She has to look. We have to be in front of each other. Why? So we can help critique what we're seeing through what Yahuwah is showing us about each other. And we can protect the parts behind each other back that we're about to be consumed by, that we have to listen to each other for protection and for life. I hope this making sense. Let's keep going. Look like I'm gonna be out here a little minute now. Let's keep going. Now, I'm gonna come back to that, right? But we looked at the image of a man, let's look at the image of a woman. A woman she don't have physical strength. She wasn't built to be physically strong. You can look at her body to see that her body wasn't created to be physically strong. But she has a inward strength. And her body naturally nurtures everything you come in contact with. Yahuwah then gave a woman the spirit of nurturing. This is why when she look at you, she can nurture you with her eyes. She can nurture you with her mouth. You will have given her breast to nurture the family, right? Gave her, I'm trying to say this the right way. Put nurturing in her hands. That's why her touch nurtures a man and nurtures children. This is why when children get hurt, they don't run to dad. They run to what? The nurturer. Her embrace nurtures the children. It takes the pain away. Even her, let's do it like this. Her opening. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The place of cookies. Her opening is a place of nurturing. That's what she's been created to do. This is why when you go into her, she embraces you and you become hers. Why? Because you have nurture, and she's nurturing your ruach. Not only are you releasing semen in her, but you release your spirit in her for her to nurture. That's the mark in her now. And this is why she carries you. This is why you can always tell when a woman that had sex with a man. And especially if a man ran off. Why? Because in her mind, I have your seed. I have your spirit in me. I dare you. Separate from me. And this is why psychologically she goes into a mad scientist black woman. But she is supposed to take hold of your outward strength. But her inner strength has been given to nurture your fears, your hurt. So this why as a man, the only place of real growth is true intimacy with your wife. You have to tell her what your fears are. You have to tell her that you're afraid, that you're scared, the things that you're scared of in the relationship. You have to become vulnerable before her because it's her strength. That's the inner strength that has been given to her that she may take that and protect that and nurture that and still build you up. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why does that noise? This is why you have to take all these things and give it to her and watch the intimacy that develops between y'all two. Let's keep going. All right, let's keep going. I gotta hurry up. All right, so watch this. And out of the ground, Yahuwah formed every beast of the field and every fowl of the air, and brought them to Adam to see what he would call them. And whatsoever Adam called every living creature, that was the name thereof. And Adam gave all names to all cattle, to the fowl of the air, to the beast of the field. But for Adam there was not found a helpmeet for him. And Yahuwah caused a deep sleep to fall upon Adam, and he slept. He took of one of his ribs and closed up the flesh thereof, and of the rib which Yahuwah have taken from man, he made a woman, and brought her unto man. Notice, Yahuwah gave Adam animals, cattle, fowls of the air to name first. Then he brought some to him that was totally different to see if he would know the difference of what was created for him. What am I saying? Yahuwah, through your ignorance and sin, will allow you to deal with a lot of animals, a lot of fowls. And some of the women that we done dealt with in the past have been animalistic. And a lot of it's they hurt, culture, all this type of stuff. But the dealings with them was purely from a base nature. Now, if dealing with that have gave you an idea in your mind of how women are based on your bad decisions, based on you leaving Yahuwah out, and you look at the cattle, the fowls of the air, as women, you'll never see your wife. You will never cherish the wife, because she's just another beast. She's just another animal. She's just another fowl. That's why, they made a song called Chicken Head. She's just another chicken. And you would treat her like that because your eyes haven't been open enough during the time that Yahuwah has put you to rest. You're supposed to be dead, so he can resurrect a new man, so he can take a new rib out of you and give you a wife. But sometimes dealing with that cattle, we done been hurt so much. And we done administer hurt so much that we look at all women as cattle. What do you do with a cattle? A cattle is only supposed to do what I want it to do. The cattle feeds my flesh. I can kill it when I want to kill it. I can make it work for me. I can make it subservient to me. I can do all those things and not have a real relationship with it. It's like having animals where you just sit out there and you just go out there every now and then. You give them food, you give them water. But they're an animal to you. I don't need them for oneness. I just need them for what they can do for me. And Yahuwah looking at this and saying, you calling a wife a Babylonian woman. You're doing everything based on leaving Yahusha and Yahuwah out of your decisions. And now you putting a blanket on all women. Based on your own dealings, based on your putting yourself in the jungle. And don't realize you'd have been set free. Now you're taking the anger, because man, I'm going to tell you, we talk about there's no fury about a woman scorn. Ain't nothing like a man scorn, boy. Because a man will protect his heart with wood, with stone, with metal. He'll never give his heart to nobody. He'll go running out here sleeping with every woman that he can. Why is he sleeping with every woman? It ain't about trying to show that you're a man based on how many women you sleep with. It's a way of punishing the one woman that hurt me. Now I'm finna go sleep it with as many women as I can, not giving my heart to nobody, because nobody is going to ever do me like that again. So I give every woman portions of me. And then we still use that as a way of to gloat. Man, you wouldn't deliver me. I done had so many women and I done had, That's the problem. We done had so many but don't know how to treat one. Because we still looking at all of them as the cattle, and Yahuwah say, I'll keep bringing this before you to see what you're going to name this. Are you going to name it your past? Verse 23. But look at what Adam did. He recognized who this was. He recognized the difference. And he treated his wife based on what he named her, because he seen that she was refreshing. She wasn't an animal. He said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of the man. He said, this is the one being that's an extension of who I am. Our heart is so connected. Our goals are still. That's where you got to get to in your marriage. That your goals become the same thing. that your desires become the same thing, that your focus become the same thing. It's so much that you become united, you become a cod, that it's hard to see that there are major differences in your desires and what you want. That now she's bone of my bone. My wife, bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. She knows me. I know her. She know how I think. I know how she think. Our goals and desires have become one. We then overcame fears together through each other's strength. We build. That woman is bone of my bone. I want to be around her all the time. But I ain't going to say all the time. I want to be around her as much as I desire to be and much as she desires to be. But it's not stressful for me to be around her. She's my home. She's my joy. She's my peace. She's my homie. She's my lover. She's my friend. She's bone of my bone. Flesh of my flesh. But a woman will reveal. Let's look at something real quick. Let's look at that word for flesh. Is a woman gonna do this? Look at that word flesh. Strong's H132 Basar. But you look at the root of it. Strong H1319 Basar. The same word we get Basor from. What it says. Tidings, show forth, publish, messenger, preach. A woman is going to preach a message. She's going to give some good tidings or bad tidings. But it's some tidings going to come out of her. It's a word going to come out of based on how you've been treating her in that marriage. She can't keep it to herself. It's a bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh. That part of your flesh is going to go tell somebody. If you're doing wrong, she gonna go preach that message of you doing her wrong. Why? Because she can't keep it within herself. She can't come to you, so she got to come to somebody. Or if you're doing her right, she gonna bring good tidings. She gonna have a basora of shalom. She gonna lift your head up. What message you gonna give her to preach? Because you give her the message by what you do, by how you act, by how you function. And you can tell when a woman is trying to hold a message. You can see it all over her. She'll be sitting and be still, quiet. You can see something want to burst out of her because she's trying to hold your secrets. She's trying to demonstrate, I want him to sing to Moray. I want him to sing to the elders that he's doing good, so I ain't going to say nothing. But it's in her demeanor, it's in her disposition. She holding something. She's trying to protect your image. That's why how some women can have nervous breakdowns by trying to keep the secret of the husband and protect his image when what he's doing is destroying her because she wasn't meant to hold it in. And guess who Yahuwah gonna comfort? He gonna comfort that man. I hope y'all listening. I'm finna move. We're about done with this. In the world. Alright, so let's keep going. He said, thou bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, she shall be called woman because she was taken out of the man. Therefore shall a man leave his mother and father and shall cleave to his wife. He shall leave his mother and father and shall cleave to his wife. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and not ashamed. What does that mean? They was both vulnerable to each other. They told each other their secrets. They revealed each other. They revealed themselves to each other. All that I am, all that I done messed up. And to find a woman that would take all your insecurities and fears and hurt and take it and begin to build you back up. And the same thing with a woman, that a man can take all of that. Now we're naked and not ashamed because we ain't holding nothing no more. I trust you enough. Don't ever bring up something vulnerable that your wife have said, or something vulnerable that your husband have said. And men, please understand this. A woman needs you to be there at a time of crisis. If you decide not to be there at the time of crisis, you destroy the image of her protector. You destroy the image of a man. You destroy the image of a priest in her life, and you might not get her back. Because she can pinpoint that you wasn't there during my crisis. Not only was you not there, you wasn't even concerned. You didn't even care. And they'll hold that. There used to be times that my wife would call me. I was at work and she was sick and she was hurt. I understood this so much. Now listen, there's a balance with it now. It had to be like she was really, really, really hurt. I'd be like, baby, I'll be there in a minute. I had enough time. Let me say that first. I had enough time in. I had enough vacation time. I had enough personal time that I can take off. So like, listen, I'm finna go, y'all. I'll be back tomorrow. And just the thought of me coming home to take care of her gave her enough strength. Being there when major crisis happened. That ain't even a crisis, but I'm just saying the level from a small perspective to a high by being there for them, naked and without shame. All right, so let's look at this. Let's go real quick to Mark. I'm going to speed this up. So I got to get off here in a minute. Y'all walking with me? Everybody still there? Everybody still there? Brothers, y'all with me? If y'all with me, let me know we with you. I know it's hard to speak right now, but we going to be all right. We're going to get there. We're going to get there, man. It look like the women speaking up. Oh, goodness. All right, now watch this. Let's go to Mark. Then we're going to run to 1 Samuel. What's that? Mark 10. Where we at? Okay, all right. So y'all heard me do this before. I want to do this to this perspective. Mark 10, verse 17. And Yahushua started on his way, and a man ran up to him and fell on his knees before him. Thub, teacher, master, Thub, aloof. He asked, what must I do to inherit eternal life? Yahushua said, why do you call me good? There's no one good except Yahuwah alone. You know the commandments. You should not murder. You should not commit adultery. You should not steal. You should not give false testimony. You should not fraud. You should not. You should honor your father and your mother. And watch what he showed. Teacher, he declared, all these things I have kept since I was a boy. So he going before Yahushua to show what he could do. And a lot of times we do that. We come to these assemblies, we go to these places to show what we're good at because we want to be celebrated. We want to be affirmed. We want to be validated by a man based on the image that we can show. But Yahusha see the real you. He see the real you. He see that little scared little boy that's been hurt. That molested boy that has to do things extra to show that I'm a man. That has to have a false image of strength that he end up demeaning his wife because some man took his innocence. So not everything he does have to be from a hard perspective to show that I'm still a man, because inwardly he feel like he lost it. And it displays in how he treat his wife. It displays in how he treat his children. It's still a survival mode. Why? Because he had been arrested at that moment of time and stopped growing. So now he forms an image of what a man is and lives by that and adds to it. But now he at a place where he finna lose everything. And the sad part of he don't even know it, because he really feel like that image of being is him and how a man should be. Then the worst thing to do is to pass on that thinking to your children. Now you perpetuate a false image because of hurt, because of shame, because of fear. Now we have macho man, the savage, trying to love a daughter of Zion. And your love is perverted because it's based off hurt. So now you demean Yahuwah's daughters. And if any man come in my daughters wrong, I'm going to bust their head. Let alone Yahuwah's daughters. You mean to tell me he been searching throughout the years trying to wake his daughters up, telling them not to be at ease, putting them back in their place, and then he going to bring them to you, and then you going to allow your hurt, your fears, your shame to strip them of the confidence that he gave them, and you think you going to get away? Oh no, he coming for you, because you messing up his plan. You'll end up as another branch that broke off the tree. We better quit playing with Yahuwah's daughters, man. He said, but I kept all these things since I was born. Yahusha looked at him, looked at him, and loved him. He loved that little boy that got hurt. He loved that little boy that got molested. And sometimes it ain't even about somebody get molested. Sometimes you can see somebody else hurt and create conclusions in your mind. You can see your mama dominate your father and put a conclusion in your mind that that'll never happen to me, because really you angry that your father never stood up to be a man. So now you have a toxic masculinity because you angry with him, and you taking it, and angry with your mom, and now you taking it out on women. Yahuwah loved him. He said, one thing you lack, go and sell everything and give it to the poor, and you have treasure in heaven. Then follow me. At this man's face, at this statement, Yahuwah hit him what he know he couldn't do. It said, at this, the man's face fell. He went away sad because he had great possessions. Had great possessions. He had great possessions. from a spiritual perspective, what are your possessions? Your possessions is the right that you of the anger that you have to feel based on what was taken from you. If somebody molested you, you have a right to feel that way. You store that anger up and it becomes your possession. If you seen your father dominated, you have the right to feel like that. You store that up as your possession of anger, unforgiveness that turns into bitterness and resentment that turns into murder. And now you murdering the idea of a woman through your anger, through how you treat her. That becomes a misogynistic individual because you ain't gave up that possession. But you want everybody to think, no, I'm good. I serve the Most High. I praise. I pray. But you still got that possession, and possession killing you now, and it's been killing your relationship. And you keep passing it on. You keep having children after children, and you keep passing it on. That mindset, because you ain't gave it up yet. And whatever's in you will produce out of the children that are produced out of you. Or if your mom wasn't there, you got a protection mechanism. You see that? Or if your father wasn't there, or if your cousin touched you. This is how we come up with a toxic masculinity that's so extra that you don't even know how to be Yahuwah. You look at Yahuwah as one way. Yahuwah says that I'm a man of war, right? He said the sheep of my pasture of men. You see, we seen Yahuwah come in and break and shake down nations as a warrior. But then we don't like to follow Yahusha as a priest, that he's long suffering, he's merciful. That he care about your inner healing. He care about how you feel. He care about the hardening of your heart to soften it and give you a heart of flesh and give you a new concept. He's invested in your healing. He's invested in your deliverance. That's being a man. How invested are you in your wife's deliverance and her healing? But number one, not just your wife, because sometimes you'll look at your wife to be her savior and nobody's there to save you. Or you don't even realize you need saving. You don't even realize you need healing and deliverer. So how can you go and be an Elohim to your wife if you don't realize that number one, you destroyed? You got to participate in your own salvation because you still got those possessions, and it's deep rooted, and it comes out as aggressiveness. But you can't let it be seen, so it still have to be passive. So when she call you, when she needs you to do something, if it don't go your way, you gotta be aggressive. You're gonna find a way to be aggressive. If she don't read the scripture you want to read, if she don't give you sex, I gotta find a way to be aggressive. 'Cause I gotta get my aggression out. And the more and more you do it, her heart is hardening towards you. Because you bitter. Let's look at this and we'll be done. Because this is my anniversary and I'm supposed to be out here having a good time. I'm out here dealing with y'all folk. But we love y'all. So look at this real quick. First Samuel, I think that is. First Samuel 25. Start at verse 1, I guess. Oh, let me say this. I've been meaning to say this. I've seen this quote. I want to say this. I want to get this in. This is important. Going back to vulnerability. There's a quote. It says, "Being dead wrong is a part of the human experience, but taking accountability matters." This is going back to that, making sure that you're vulnerable for each other, that you can admit to your mistakes. It says, "There is a beauty in saying, I misunderstood that. I got that wrong. I don't like the way I handle that. It's cleansing. It's vulnerable. It shows you are a person that is willing to grow." What often happens is that people feel like when they admit to their mistakes, it is an indictment against self, and it is not. It actually conveys that you have enough grace to take the knee and recognize that you gotta do better. And it's not just recognizing that you have to do better, but it's actually doing better. And this is why, after you admit your mistakes, and if you say you're going to do better, don't do a whole lot of talking. Just demonstrate, show, grow. There's another statement that I heard. I hope y'all don't miss this. It says, nobody ever heard a tree grow. But that thing was powerful to me when I heard that. It says, you never hear trees growing. You only see their development the more and more you pass by. A tree ain't saying this year I'm gonna grow and I'm gonna bear all kind of fruit. They don't say nothing. They just demonstrate. Before you know it, they budding. Before you know it, their roots are established. Before you know it, that's bark. Before you know it, there's fruit coming off that tree. Because their words is in demonstration. And Yahuwah have called us trees, but while we keep talking, show fruit, be like a tree. Don't speak of your growth. Let people see it and learn more off of what they see you doing rather than what they hear you saying. 1 Samuel 25, 2. And there was a man in Moab, and whose possessions were in Camel. And this man had great riches. He had 3,000 sheep, 1,000 goats, and he was shearing sheep and camel. Now, there's many type of ways to be rich. This man was rich in possessions, but that was it. I want to read this. You can be rich in what you have. You can be rich in what you do. You can be rich in what you know. And in the rich in what they are, you can be rich in character. Nabal was a rich man, but only in what he owned. He had the lowest form or class of riches. What are you rich in? The book says that Yahuwah is rich in mercy. He's rich in grace. He's rich in love. He's rich in understanding. He's wealthy when it comes to that. See, we out here seeking natural wealth and don't realize that you're already rich in faith. What riches are you going to show? How much mercy do you have? How much grace do you have? Can you boast that you know Yahuwah? That you know his word? How rich in the word are you? They say it's rich. Now there was a name of a man was Nabal, and the name of his wife was Abigail. She was a woman of what? Good understanding and of a beautiful countenance. But the man was churlish and evil in his doing, and he was of the house of Caleb. So now let's look up the word Nabal. And we're going to locate some of us. I got to hit this. I'm going to build y'all men up later, but you got to see how far you done fail first. Strong's H5037. And and it says fool. Stupid, foolish, wicked. Abel was a fool. Let's keep looking at the other word. It said he was churlish. Let's look that word up. That means kasa or kashe. And that means he was hard, cruel, very difficult, severe, intense, vehement, stiff-necked. But he married to an Abigail. How did that happen? His very name, the way the book chose to describe him, means fool, stupid. The scripture say he was churish, which means kashe, if I'm saying that right. And then that says that he was, let's look at that again. We don't like this kind of talk. He was a hard man, difficult, cruel, stubborn. But he has an Abigail. Now, notice there had to be something that drew Abigail to Nabal. He couldn't have started off like that. But Nabal never took his healing serious. He never went back and discovered his possessions. He never went back and repented to Yahuwah about how much in his life that he left him out that caused the plight that he had with the women that he had, dealing with us. He never went back and asked Yahuwah for forgiveness of hatred of his mother, of looking at his mother and father situation and creating a conclusion. And Yahuwah took him to a place and gave him a jewel, but the Bible describes Nabal as a fool. Difficult. Look at you. Look how difficult you make situations. Something that should be easy, you got to make it difficult. He's intense. A man that just always making a situation strong. Ain't no shalom about you. Somebody asks you to do something, you angry about it. You can't even go on a vacation without finding something to fuss about. You can't ride in a car on the Shabbat without finding something to be angry about. You difficult. You got to show you mad. You got to show you angry. You got to display it. You got to give your wife the silent treatment. You got to yell. You got to fuss. You just a difficult person. Intense. You cruel in the way you do things. In the way you deal with her. You'll do all that but then want sex. And your sex is cruel. Because it's only meant to gratify yourself. Based off the women that you've been seeing. Now, I'm going to deal on pornography next week. That pornography, that adultery, that fornication. I'm going to show you how that thing destroys your soul, man. Everything. That's why us men, we need so much healing, man. Because Yahuwah has put the nation on our back. But, man, we got so much cracks in the foundation, man. Watching pornography will make you so cruel because it shows you how to treat a woman, and you don't realize if you was given to her like I was, it'll come out in the ways that you handle her. Now, I want y'all to think about, because I don't want to say think about pornography, but when those that have been bound by it, notice how the man treats the woman in pornography. She's nothing. He snatches her. He treats her any type of way. He just uses her body to gratify himself. It's nothing gentle. It's nothing careful. There's no intimacy in it. It's none of that. Now you will get your spirit filled up with that for years. And don't think you're not going to demonstrate that in the way you treat your wife. It's going to come out. You're going to mishandle her. You're not going to be careful about her needs. You're not going to care how she feel, how she thinks. Not going to listen to her. Because what? You saw that and you put that demonstration, because everything is teaching you. Everything is showing you. It's teaching you how to treat her. And you got your spirit spilled, your spirit. You got your spirit filled with that, man. And those acts come out in the way you handle your spouse. Y'all ain't having sex, but look at your words. Your words is just as aggressive as that pornography. Look at that anger. It's just as aggressive as that pornography. Look how you snatch yourself away. How you silence her. It's just like that pornography. Because it taught you how to treat women, and your soul don't know no difference. Your soul says this the object of how you're supposed to treat that what you've been feeding it. Y'all better listen to me, man. You see that? So the scripture calls Nabal a fool and a cruel man. How have you been to your spouse? Have you been cruel? Can she say that you're cruel, that you mean, that you hurtful, that the way that you talk to her? Why you have to be like that? Why everything you have to make into an issue, killing the friendship of the relationship? Now your spouse don't even really want to be around you. Your spouse have to think 3 times before she brings something to you because of your reaction. She can't even come and talk to you in shalom and peace because you're a cruel man. You Nabal. You're Nabal. You're a fool. And Yahuwah has gift wrapped a gift for you and you can't even see it. Because you're still equating her to those animals that Adam named in the beginning, that you don't know the difference of what to cherish. Why? Because you still got possessions. All you rich in anger, you rich in discontentment, you rich in aggravation, you rich in uh, being cruel. If you don't get your way, you have to show it. Because that's your form of control. But then you say you serve Yahuwah, you dance, you praise, you pray, you declare. And Yahuwah seeing how you, wait. You just popped another scripture in my mind. Let's go to Malachi. Malachi chapter 2, and I'm finna get ready to go because I've been on this thing too long. Malachi chapter 2, we're going to hold Nabal because we got to give Nabal his crazy self. Let's see. Da. Where is that? Is that one? It must be 3. Thought it was 2. It has to be 2 then. Got to be 2. Man, what curse blessing. You'll see in your faces, and you shall know my covenants with life and peace I gave them to the fear. The truth is not here, walking in peace for the priest should keep knowledge. Be departed and stubborn, shall go out therefore I have so made you continue to obey, keep my laws, everything. Father, every man against his neighbor, find you. Coming out. altar and crying so much, receive it. Because a witness between the. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. There we go. Let's go to Malachi chapter 2, real quick. Malachi chapter 2, verse 12. All right, and we'll be done in a little bit. Watch this. And Yahuwah will cut off the man that doeth this, the master and the scholar, out of the tabernacles of Jacob, and him that offered the offering unto your oaths. And this have ye done again, covering the altar of Yahuwah with tears. Watch this, with tears, with weeping, with much crying, and so much you regarded not the offering anymore, and received it with good will at your hand. Yet ye say, wherefore? Because Yahuwah hath been witness between thee. Like Yahuwah hearing all that crying, he hearing all that praying, he hearing all that. But he ain't receiving nothing. He see that dancing, he see that praising, he see that crying out, but he ain't receiving nothing. Let's ask him why. It's to the man. Yet say, wherefore? Why? Because Yahuwah hath been a witness between thee and the wife of your youth, against whom thou hast dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of your covenant? What? Let's see what that word treacherously is. Well, I can't go there. Something wrong with my phone. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Say you done dealt treacherously with her. They act deceitfully, faithlessness, deceitfully, offended, transgress. Because Yahuwah has witnessed between thee and the wife of you, against you have dealt treacherously. Yet is she thy companion and the wife of your youth. He's saying you don't even treat her like your companion. He said, I've been looking at this from the days of the youth. This is the wife of your youth. Your wife of your youth. Look how you've been treating her. And did not he make y'all one? Yet had he the residue of the Spirit, and wherefore one, that he may seek a godly seed. Therefore take heed to your spirit, let none deal treacherously against the wife of your youth. He said you're supposed to be bringing forth, ministering to this woman so much that you can bring forth a godly seed, the holy Kodesh seed. He said, I got some against you, man. For Yahuwah that Alua saith, he hath put in away, he hateth to put in away. For one covereth violence with his garment, saith Yahuwah Sabaoth. Therefore take heed to your spirit that you deal not treacherously with her. Ye have wearied Yahuwah with your words. Yet you say, wherein we have wearied him? We say, everyone that doeth evil is good in the sight of Yahuwah, and he delighteth in them. Where is Yahuwah's judgment? Yahuwah don't want to hear your words no more. You coming together like all is well. You in the assembly like all is well. You coming before like everything is 100. And you will say, I've been watching how you've been doing with it. I don't care nothing, but I ain't receiving nothing you doing. I ain't receiving your dance. I ain't receiving nothing from you. I seen how treacherously you've been acting. That's the wife of your youth. That's your companion. That's my daughter. Nabal, fool. You've been cruel, stubborn, fierce, difficult. We got to ask ourselves, why are we difficult? Why are we like this? What's going on the inside of us? What's up? What is it? Everywhere you go, you're a difficult person to work with. You're so extra all the time. I'm telling you, who are coming for these men, he gonna come for you. These are his daughters. He been watching how treacherously you've been dealing with them. All right, let's wrap this up. Now the name of the man was Nabal, verse 3, and the name of his wife was Abigail. She was a woman of good understanding and beautiful countenance, but the man was difficult, hard, mean, stubborn, stiff necked. And he all that and evil in his doings. Evil in his doings. And watch this. And Dawid heard in the wilderness that Nabal did shear his sheep. And Dawid sent out 10 young men, and Dawid said unto the young men, Get up to Carmel and go to Nabal and greet him in my name. And thus shall you say to him that live prosperously, Peace be to both to thee, and peace be to thine house, and peace be upon all that thou hast. And I have heard that thou hast shearers, and I have heard which thou was with us. You know what? Well, let's keep going. Ask thy young man, and they shall show thee. Wherefore let the young man find favor in thy eyes, for we have come in good on a good day. Right? That good day was important. The day that they would shear the sheep is the day that they would actually be generous in the land. That's why Dawid was very strategic on the day that he came to Nabal, because he know, according to the culture of the surrounding people at that time, that was a festive day of shearing their sheep, and they were supposed to be generous on those days, let alone for a person that had been protecting your cattle and protecting your sheep from outside invaders. This is why he sent the men on that day, and that he knew that there should have been a return. And that's why Dawid was wise. He protected with an objective in mind. Right? So that day, it came on a good day, was a day when you looked that up, that those things supposed to happen, right? I pray thee whatsoever cometh into thy hand unto thy servants, to thy son Dawid. Verse 9. And Dawid's young men came, they spoke to Nabal, the fool, according to all the words that name of Yahuwah, name of David, and ceased. And Nabal answered his servants and said, Who is Dawid, and who is the son of Jesse? There are many servants nowadays that break away from their master. Now, he tried to mess out Dawid right there, because everybody in Israel knew who Dawid was, and they knew the situation that was going on with him and Shaul. His name was already renowned based on alone him killing Goliath. That's just one thing. That ain't even talking about the many battles that he won. Everybody knew Dawid, but he was being slick. A fool. And we'll get into later how Nabal is one of the highest narcissists. We get into that another time. But he a fool. He tried, David. He's like, who is that? Who he think he is? Where he from? There are many servants nowadays that break away from their master. So now he's calling Dawid an indentured servant that break away from their master. So now he's trying Dawid's respect that he's trying to have for Shaul. And he said, oh, now he ain't nothing but a little slave that's out here running. Shall I take my bread, my water, my flesh that I have killed for my shearers and give it to mere men whom I know not whence they be? So David, your man, was like, okay, we got you, because they know what's going to happen. When again it came and told all these things to Dawid, Dawid said to the man, gird ye up every man his sword. They girded up every man his sword, and David also girded up his sword. That there went up after Dawid 400 men and 200 men above. All right. So we see, like Forrest Gump used to say, a fool is what a fool does. Forrest had a revelation now. He had a revelation now. So he understood what he was supposed to do, did against that. Dawid finna go cut his head off. The woman Abigail, to make a long story short because I got to move, the woman Abigail came to intercede for him. Right? But Yahuwah seen how treacherous he was dealing with the daughter of his youth. How treacherous he was dealing with his bride. And you got to think about today, in the time of the awakening, that Yahuwah then woke his babies up. He then gave his daughters the confidence that they didn't have. Shook the filthy garment off them, Gave them to you for you to put them in good pasture, and then now you bringing them into another captivity. Another captivity. After he done bought us out of captivity, you bringing this woman into another captivity and making her a slave, and you making yourself the master, and Yahuwah said he coming for you. Just like Yahuwah end up killing Nabal, Yahuwah would kill you measure by measure. Why he's setting up your replacement? Because one thing about it, Yahuwah gonna have his daughters healed, and he gonna protect his daughters by any means necessary. I'm telling you, I'm putting this out here now. You gonna start seeing things happen to men that's willfully staying in this, that's playing, dealing treacherous, that's being a Nabal. You're gonna start seeing them die. What do I mean by die? Everything they put their hands to, they're gonna die. They're gonna start losing careers, losing jobs, having sicknesses in their bodies that doctors don't know what it is. Cause how they been dealing with their wife, their pride, their cruelty. Just like Nabal, you know what you're supposed to be doing. You know what you should be doing, but you too dumb and so much of a fool that you won't listen, and your pride make you feel like you already know what to do. And you will see it. You will see it. You will see it. So men, let's not walk in the spirit of Nabal, spirit of a fool. Let's take on the mantle of Dawid, take on the mantle of Yahusha, knowing how to love our wife, learning how to be there for her, learning how to minister. But first, we have to admit that we hurt. And we have to really search out and say, where's my hurt coming from? Because you can't worry about love right now because you can't do it. But I got to first admit and acknowledge that this is me. Then I have to acknowledge where it came from. Did it come from a molestation? Have you been holding back molestation? Have you been holding back that somebody raped you? Have you been holding back what you done? Have you been holding back an anger that you have against your mom, an anger that you had against your dad? Then the possessions, you gotta let the possessions go. You might have the right to feel that way, but it's not righteous. It don't align you with the kingdom. Wow, what you got to say? Why am I so difficult? Why am I so intense? Why do I have to holler when I'm saying something? Where's that stemming from? See, we got to come to these. We got to come to this. This is a ruka. Again, for the men, this is a ruka. We're trying to show you what a man of the covenant is versus a man of Babylon, or let me just say a man of hurt and shame and anger. You don't think Yahuwah will take away from you what you got. You don't believe that, but keep playing with him. Keep playing with him. Keep playing with him. You know you wrong in some of your decisions, but you're so prideful you ain't going to submit or adhere to what your wife is trying to show you. And some of y'all still got secrets. I feel that right now. Some of y'all still got secrets. Still got secrets that you ain't revealed to your wife. And you're going to expose it, man. All right, so listen. Put this out to the men. I got one more good one to do to y'all. But I got one more good one. What we're going to deal with next week if I get a chance. I gotta show you the perfect, because I want to show you the generational curse that came down from Adam. Then I want to show you the possessions that we have in our relationship that cause us to be toxic, that we got to deal with, that gave us possessions. And then the other thing, whether it be molestation, whatever it is, stolen birthrights. Then the other thing I have to show you is what this culture has put in us when it comes to pornography, what fornication has done to us, and in your relationship, what adultery have done, and your responsibility to it and towards it. Then we will build up the rest of it. of everything and be able to go from there. All right, but we love y'all. Yeah, that's right. I like how even Yada said that. Don't let a woman bring that sword. She gonna bring that sword. She gonna bring that sword. She gonna cry out on you. All right, let's not be Nabal, difficult, hard, cruel, foolish, and have a woman of Yahuwah. All right, love y'all. Gotta go. We're gonna bid y'all shalom, and we'll see y'all on the next one.